This is a 25-pound propane tank, as opposed to the 100-pound tank on the right side of the picture. The 25-pound tank is quite common in Panama. Propane gas is used primarily to run on demand hot water heaters and gas stoves for cooking. The 25-pound tank is subsidized by the Panamanian government, and the price is kept to a little over $5 a tank. It should be noted that the cost of a 100-pound tank is about 4.5 times the cost of 4 25-pound tanks. You will run into variations on tanks and connectors in the different areas of Panama. A 25-pound tank can last as little as a couple of weeks to a month or more, depending on usage. The one thing in common is that you will have to change out tanks periodically as they empty. The first thing to note is how the tank regulator is switched on and off. In this example, there's a small lever on top of the regulator, and the regulator is clearly marked as to which is the on side and the off side. To swap out tanks, the first thing you must do is turn off the regulator. Next, place both hands on top of the regulator with your fingers underneath the black collar at the bottom of the regulator. Squeeze the collar and remove the regulator from the tank. Swap the empty tank for a full one. Squeeze the regulator collar. Set it back on top of the receiver on the tank. Release the collar and press down a couple of times firmly to make sure it's properly seated. Lastly, flip the small lever on top of the regulator to the on position. Next, let's look at swapping out a 100-pound tank. As you can see, the connection parts for a 100-pound tank are quite different compared to the 25-pound tank. There's a rotary valve on the top of the tank that turns the gas on and off. The tricky part is the hose connector. That attaches to the top of the tank and is a left-hand thread. So let's look at swapping out a 100-pound tank. The first thing you will want to do is make sure the regulator is switched off or to the extra tank. In this picture, you can see that the regulator is set up to switch between two tanks. The lever on the regulator points to the hose that attaches to the tank, telling you which tank has been selected. Make sure the lever is pointed away from the tank you are swapping. Once the switch is properly set, close the valve on the top of the empty tank. With the valve closed, remove the feed line from the tank. This is where you run into the left-hand thread issue. You must turn the plastic collar on that tank clockwise to remove the hose and counterclockwise to reinstall it. It feels opposite to what you think it should be. Remove the empty tank and move a full one into place. Reattach the feed hose and open the valve on the new tank. Sometimes you may need a set of pliers to open the valve. Lastly, depending on your circumstances, you may need to switch the regulator lever back to the tank you just installed.